Thank you, Councillor Nolan. You've joined us online. We have no apologies for tonight's meeting. I'll move to the prayer. Councillor Adams.
Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council. Direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. Councillor Gallagher, could you please give us the acknowledgement of country?
Yes, I acknowledge the traditional owners from the land for which we meet and pay our respect to those elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. I'll now call for item 5, disclosures of interest. Councillor Clark. And because the reason? And what's your action? Okay, thank you, Councillor. We're now moving into reports. So Councillor Clark will leave the chamber. Councillors, can I have a mover for the motion? Mover for the motion? Councillor Nolan, second by Councillor Adams.
What is the motion, the recommendation?
The recommendation, Councillor?
To accept the
development application. It's written in front of you.
Well, there's people in the public gallery that might not know.
Oh, sorry, you haven't got the business paper in front of you? Oh, it is. Sorry, there is copies of the business paper there. So I'll read the motion so everybody can hear it. The Broken Hill City Council report number 21 dated April 30 of 2021 be received. The development application 155/2020 for the construction of 4 new dwellings at 480 Cummins Street be approved subject to the conditions in attachment A. Councillor Nolan, would you like to speak to the motion? Sorry, no, Councillor Nolan moved the motion. Yes, we can. Thank you. Speakers against?
I'll move an amendment, Madam Mayor.
What's your amendment, Councillor?
That the Broken Hill City Council report number /21 dated April 30, 2021 be received. 2, that the development application 155/2020 for the construction of 4 new dwellings at 480 Cummins Street be deferred. 3, that correspondence be sent to the Aboriginal Housing Office, the statutory authority under the Aboriginal Housing Act 1998, and to the New South Wales government is a New South Wales government agency. The correspondence to state the council would invite the Aboriginal Housing Office out to Broken Hill to
Thank you.
allay the...
We'll just allow Lisa to catch up.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll slow down a bit. Allay the concerns of residents in the area, being the concerns that were outlined by a number of speakers before the council meeting. This included the fact that the Aboriginal Housing Office is actually trying to reduce social impacts by spreading housing out, and what impact having 4 dwellings together will have on the community in that area, and what mitigating action will the Aboriginal Housing Office take if the amenity of that area is disrupted in a form similar to what they are trying to stop from happening in other areas.
Councillor Orgady is seconding the motion.
Seconded.
Okay, Councillor Kennedy, do you want to speak to your amendment?
Yes, I would, Madam Mayor. It's quite obvious from the people that are in this room that there are going to be plenty of people that are unhappy. The only people that may be happy is a statutory authority in Sydney, the Aboriginal Housing Office, who could spend $1.5 million buying houses anywhere in the city, as was stated by one of the speakers. This will, without a doubt, have an impact on the community, and as a council, we must address any impact. We are here to represent the interests of the community, not the interests of some statutory authority in Sydney or Canberra. The reality is people have concerns, they have legitimate concerns, and we as a council must do all we can to make sure those concerns are addressed and allayed. If the Aboriginal Housing Office can meet in Broken Hill and meet with the council and meet with the residents and give some guarantees that development will not result in any significant harm to the area, to the amenity of the area, to the pricing of housing in that area, I'm sure the people that have spoken tonight will be a lot more happy with any decision council makes, and any decision that is made will at least be made with all the facts. As it currently stands, we in this room don't know what the ramifications of building 4 houses together, considering what was in the application, what was there from the applicant that was speaking about the problems of concentrated housing, low affordable housing in social areas. We could be actually creating a whole new area in Broken Hill that could result in some sort of problem. I hope that doesn't happen, but there's one way to ensure that at least we are armed with all the facts and information we need, and that is to invite the Aboriginal Housing Office, the statutory authority, out here at the site so they can explain to residents and councillors exactly what the proposal is, what benefits it will have to the community as a whole, and what benefits it will have to the people that live in that area. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any speakers against the amendment? Councillor Brown.
Yes, Madam Mayor, just a few points I'd like to make. I do not believe that this amendment is actually would be a valid response, given this is a DA, and any response the council makes has to be an argument on planning grounds. I do understand that this is a report that has raised concerns with a number of people, but I'm quite comfortable that each of the objections that have been previously raised and that have been raised tonight have been very thoroughly addressed in both reports, in the first report and in the more recent report, where the proponent was able to comment in detail on those concerns that were previously raised. It's also been made very clear to us that, well, several things. First of all, it's not a social housing application, and that has relevance to the response and to the proposal. It's not the social impact, apart from being well, not something that can be predicted, is also not part of the response that under the various SEPs that apply in the state. From reading the response to the original report, I think the only the planning, whatever the SEP stands for, the state environmental planning legislation. I can't remember what the second P is. I think was the, oh, no, I can't even remember. I know that there was only one, but housing density certainly isn't one of those. I think as far as housing density, the proponent makes it clear that as 2-bedroom houses, I would not think that the impact on the population of that area is going to be any greater than for the 2 housing developments, you know, one next door and one immediately behind, I think, which would be of roughly similar size. I think they're all probably 2-bedroom houses. So, Madam Mayor, rather than go on and deal with each of these in detail, I think that it's a DA that has been thoroughly researched and where the objections have been responded in great detail.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Speakers for the amendment?
Yeah, I'll speak
Councillor Allgate?
for the amendment, Madam Chair. I can't see anything wrong with Councillor Kennedy's amendment. I can't see any problem at all with inviting the relevant authority to come up here and give a presentation to the council to try and allay the fears that are held by people like myself. I wouldn't like to be in the situation that some of the residents are in. And as a councillor, my interest is in trying to help anybody that feels the same way as I would in this situation. The thing is, it's there's an effort by this particular authority to get away from concentrating numbers of Indigenous people in one particular area. That's my understanding of it. And yet, they are now concentrating a group of people in four units in one area itself. That in itself seems to defeat the entire aim of this authority's idea. Individual houses throughout the town doesn't seem to raise the same problems that this has. This is a concentration. It's moving some people from a concentrated area to another concentrated area. And as far as I'm concerned, we should do everything we can to explore what the council can or cannot do before making a decision. It's as simple as that. If we have ratepayers who are terribly concerned about what's happening, what's likely to happen, and for their benefit, if not for our own, we should make every effort we can to find out what the views are of the authority that's behind all of this, and see if they are prepared to give us a guarantee of how this is going to work or not work. What's wrong with progressing it forward to the degree that let them put the case to us?
Thank you, Councillor. Any more speakers against the amendment? If not, I'll put Councillor Brown.
Madam Mayor, can I foreshadow a motion at this
We
point?
still have a motion on our books. This is the
Yes.
amendment. So do you want to wait till we deal with the amendment?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put the amendment. All those in favour? Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Allgate, Councillor Page, Councillor Gallagher. Against? Councillor LeCour, Councillor Brown, Councillor Adams, Councillor Nolan, Mayor Turley. The amendment's lost. I will now move to the motion. Go to the motion, Councillor. With the motion, Councillor, is there any debate with the
I'll
motion?
speak against the motion.
Okay, I'll just ask if Councillor, Councillor spoke for it. Councillor Kennedy, you're speaking against?
Yes, I'll speak against. I think it was very well said by Councillor Allgate. we have an obligation as a council to do all we can to make sure that we fully understand what we're voting on. We fully understand what the implications and ramifications of any development application we approve. This without a doubt, will have an impact on the residents in that area. As it stands now, the people behind us will be impacted. This is 4 dwellings that haven't been built yet, so we are actually don't have any families that are going to be disappointed or sad that the development application doesn't go ahead. The reality is the only people that are going to be impacted if we were to delay this development application is in fact the applicants, which is the Aboriginal Housing Office. These are people that are in Sydney or Canberra or wherever they are that don't know our personal situations in the area. They have no idea. As far as we're concerned, we're a dot on a map. We could have shown them Broken Hill and showed them exactly what was happening in Broken Hill and had some of the concerns addressed. That won't happen because it was voted against. We now have a situation where there's going to be many people that leave this chamber tonight that are not happy. And for that disappoints me greatly. As a council, we should be a council that looks out to try and help people in Broken Hill. And when those people come to us for help, we do all we can to help them, not act like overlords and say, no, we will accept this regardless of your thoughts. As far as I'm concerned, a job as a councillor and a mayor is to make sure you do all you can to help. As it stands, we may not have been able to not approve the development application, but for this council to say that we could not investigate every option is very disappointing, and it's not what I believe the Act intends. The Act intends that we are a conduit between the community and the council. Tonight, the councillors that are voting for this development application are letting down the community and letting down the role of local government in general.
Thank you, Councillor Kennedy. Any speakers for the motion?
Madam
Councillor
Mayor,
Cool, yes.
Madam Mayor, in that argument for against the motion, all I heard was the element of race, the element that this is a development that has been put together.
Point of order,
point
of order, Madam Mayor. If the council is
Councillor, sorry,
insinuating
what's
in
your
any,
point of order,
well, if the
councillor?
council is using derogatory language and accusing any councillors here or any member of the public that they're racist because they don't accept the councillor's review opinion, will be held for defamation. I can guarantee you that, because I'm not putting up with the councillor referring to councillors that disagree with him as racist.
Councillor LeCour.
I would certainly not accuse anyone of being a racist unless they were overtly racist. My concern is that the applicant is Aboriginal housing. There will be a perception within the community that we voted against this motion due to the fact that the applicant was Aboriginal Housing Corporation.
Thank you, councillor. So any further speakers against the motion? Councillor Allgate?
Against?
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, I'm a bit like Councillor Kennedy. I take exception to one councillor's presentation just then. We all have personal beliefs. I believe, as Councillor Kennedy does, that as councillors we're elected to look after our community, and we should be doing everything we can to look after that community before we start looking after other community or other people. It's our residents that we're here to represent. As Councillor Kennedy said, we're the vehicle by which residents can come to us and put their views forward at the council meetings. When the residents themselves put their views forward and we ignore them, we are irresponsible. I don't care what the subject is. If we don't listen to the ratepayers, we shouldn't be here. There's been so many occasions in recent times where this council has turned their back on ratepayers, the very people that elect us to represent them, that it's just downright terribly poor performance in total. I mean, I have words, but I can't use them here. So many times. I mean, we had, just to give a classic example, the welcome signs. There were 200 people here that night. They were very vocal about their particular views. Ratepayers, the people that pay the rates, the people that pay our allowances. And what did the council do? Thank God I didn't, but the council voted to ignore those people and go ahead. This is happening so often it's not funny. It's an embarrassment for me to be a councillor, a real embarrassment. I've lived here for 80 years, born and bred. I was brought up in the Labor environment, and I'd be ashamed to say I'm a Labor person now. I really would.
Thank you, councillor. Any further speakers for the motion?
I'll speak. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, councillor Adams speaking for.
Yes, this DA, we've looked at it twice. Our staff have looked at it twice. Everything, all the boxes have been ticked. And the one thing that I would like to say is that irrespective of what we all think, I don't believe council has the right to determine who will live where. That's what it is. We've addressed it all as we have, and as far as looking after the residents, well, the people going into these houses will be our residents as well. So I know it's a very awkward situation, but we are governed by rules, and the rules are saying that we have to pass this.
Thank you, councillors. Speakers against? No further speaker against. Councillor Nolan, you have the right of reply. Thank you, councillor. I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour? Councillor Cool, Councillor Brown, Councillor Page, Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Adams, Councillor Nolan, Mayor Turley. Against? Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Allgate. The motion is passed. Thank you, councillors. Can we ask Councillor Clark to come back into the chamber? Thank you, Councillor Clark, for rejoining us. Councillor Clark, the recommendation was passed by council, the standing motion. So thank you, everyone. As such, I'll close the meeting and thank you all for your attendance.